Good morning. Welcome to our community meditation. And good morning to all of you who are joining us online. I thank all of you for being with us as we connect in consciousness. My name is Clay T. White, and I am your practitioner for today. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones so that we can have an uninterrupted experience together. This meditation is a blend of spoken word, lots and lots of silence, and it is accompanied by beautiful music. It will last approximately 15 minutes. So please plant your feet firmly on the floor. Get very comfortable in your seat. Breathe in. Just breathe. Relax your body, beginning at your toes, all the way through your scalp. Just naturally allow it to happen. There is nothing within me which is completely aware. There is something within me which is completely aware of its oneness with power, with unity, and with life. There is nothing within me that opposes this. Unite with the oneness. Just breathe. The Spirit of God is an undivided and it is indivisible, undivided wholeness. I am part of the wholeness. I am one with this wholeness, united in an unbreakable bond. The spirit in me is indivisible, undivided. As I go deeper within, My endeavor is not to find God, but it is to realize God's presence and to understand that this presence is always with me. Nothing can be closer to me. This is the very essence of my being. There is but one life. Knowing that the divine presence is in everyone. This presence is in everything. The Spirit is in all people. I salute this presence in everything right now. I recognize that the God life is responding to me from every person I meet, in every event that transpires, in every circumstance in my experience. Recognize that God life right now. Go deeper within. Feel the warmth and color of this divine presence forevermore pressing against you, forevermore welling up from within you. The wellspring of eternal being is present yesterday, today, tomorrow, and always. Feel the warmth and color of this divine presence. am in complete unity with good. Surrounding me are the everlasting arms. I know that all is well with my soul, my spirit, my mind. All is well with my affairs. This good I realize for myself and for all others. We are in complete unity with good, with God, with the divine presence. There is one life in and through all. Consciously, I unify myself with this pure spirit in which I live, move, and have my being. I live, move, and have my being in wholeness. You are in complete unity with good, complete unity with the divine presence. All is well with my soul, with my spirit, my mind. We live, move, and have our being in wholeness. This concludes today's meditation. Thank you for being with us in spiritual practice. Our celebration service will begin at 10 o'clock.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
This is Centered for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. Why don't you guys come take a seat? Well, wherever you want to, you know. I happen to like the front myself, but you know. We'll get everybody in here. This will be lovely. I'm having a slow start this morning. Nice mellow time. Isn't this weather incredible? Oh, yeah. I tell you, I love this weather. I could pull out a sweater today. I was thrilled. I know, it's the little things in life that get us going, right? Well, I want to say good morning to everyone who's joining us online today. If you guys would, turn around and wave at them. Thank you for being here. We were so blessed to have so many people joining us online each Sunday morning. And if they're not here present in this moment, then they are watching us later on throughout the week. So we are so blessed by our online presence here. All right, we're going to start off with some music this morning. I'll turn it over to Justin here, and then we'll do a little meet and greet.
Everybody, let's start with Energy of God. If you'd like to stand up, please join us. Energy of God. Yeah. I am the energy of God. 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 All right, if you choose, please greet your neighbor.
What a beautiful, wonderful energy that created. I love that. Now we're going to shift it a little bit and go into a more contemplative time. I've got practitioner Clay T. White, who is going to give us our affirmation and our invocation. And I also want to thank our other practitioners that are in service today. We are so blessed by their contributions. So turn it over to Clay T.
So, I want you to join me in saying the affirmation, but first I'm going to read it aloud fully, and then I'm going to break it in half and allow you to repeat it after me. I embrace the ultimate unity that all of creation is one within God. I embrace the ultimate unity that all of creation is one within God. Let's turn within as we prepare for the invocation.
I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this whole world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. I need to relax, let God take over. I need to relax, let God take over and take this load off of my shoulders. I need to relax, let God take over.
So the invocation sets the tone for the service. And this morning I declare that there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. I'm going to do it again. And please use it to set the tone of your life. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now.
I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me.
Thank you, Clay T. and Justin. And Clay T., thank you for bringing back the "There Is Only One Life." Have you? Okay, I'm okay. If you have been to one of our chanting services in the past, we haven't done one for several years right now. We used to chant that those famous words from Ernest Holmes 108 times. And something happens when we do that. There is an energy that is built, and it becomes palpable in the room, and you can feel the room vibrating as we do that. Let's do it a couple times here. We won't do it 108 because that takes about 12 minutes. But let's do it together. So again, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Ready? There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Did you feel it in your body? It's such a powerful thing to do that and to just really get into that energy of those words, those powerful words. The passage goes on and says, in God I live and move and have my being. In God I live and move and have my being. Isn't that, what a wonderful, expressive, descriptive way of saying this unity of all life, this unity of oneness, that we are an intangible or a tangible presence in that divine creator, that perfect life that is living itself through us right here and right now. Just gets me going. That's some of the best of Ernest Holmes right there. So this month we are talking about unity. We're going to wrap up our talk on unity today by talking about unity from a global perspective. Beyond our differences is the title today, Beyond Our Differences. You know, we are in a very diverse world. And that diverse world, I've talked about this a lot throughout the month, that diverse world has, most of the time those differences have been accentuated. And those differences have led to division. But we are about diversity, not division. We are about embracing the differences in life, embracing all of these wonderful, this rich tapestry of life that we have without focusing on dividing us, without focusing on keeping us separate from each other. This is about bringing us together in this global network. When I was in ministerial school, I took classes on lots of different religions, but when I was taking Hinduism and Buddhism, both of them have a concept, because, you know, Buddhism came out of Hinduism. So both of them have this concept that's called Indra's net. Now, Indra is one of the Hindu supreme deities, happens to be the god of order, likes things neat. Indra's net is a way of describing our interconnectedness of life. So imagine a big old fishing net that is infinite, that is all over the universe. Imagine it covering the planet and out into the other parts of the solar system and moving out and so forth. This huge, vast net of interconnectedness. And now think about where each one of those threads comes together. You know, they knot them together, make little sections on the net. In each one of those nodules is a jewel. And each one of us is one of those jewels. We are all a jewel in the interconnectedness of Indra's net. Now, the great thing about this is these jewels are very reflective. And so not only do they shine and give their own beauty, but they pick up the beauty from the other jewels, and it's reflected in them. And just like any kind of prism does, it not only reflects itself once, but then there's a reflection of the reflection, and a reflection of that reflection, and it just goes on into infinity. And so here we have this beautiful tapestry out here, this interconnectedness of all of life, every jewel on there reflecting some aspect of another one, showing its beauty and letting its beauty be shared by another jewel, and absorbing the beauty of those jewels and allowing that to multiply within itself. What a beautiful concept this is about how we are all interconnected. And now, you know, like on a net, if you move one part of the net, the part over here doesn't stay still. Those vibrations move through that net and touch it. So every time one of these jewels gets moved, creates a vibration, it affects every other jewel in that net. And so now we have this, not only are we reflecting each other, but our energy is touching each other and it's being vibrated back and forth. And we're absorbing this person's energy and that person's energy, and it's coming back and forth, and we're giving out our energy. And it just all becomes this beautiful interconnectedness of how life really is. We're not worried about, oh, that jewel is is a green colored jewel, and that jewel is a purple colored jewel. It doesn't matter what color it is, or what shape it is, or what size it is, or anything else about it. It is just a beautiful emanation of the jewels that are all of life. And so we focus on that aspect of it, where we can celebrate the diversity of it. We can celebrate the beauty, the way it shines its beauty differently than the way this one shines its beauty. We can celebrate that without having to try to separate us and say, oh, that one's better than that one, or that one's not as good, or that one is too big, or that one's too small, or that one speaks a different language. We don't have to worry about any of that because we're focused on how we are alike. And I think when we can get to a world like that, then things really begin to happen. You know, we live in this interconnected world, and that has been so evident in the last 3 years as we experienced this pandemic that started on one side of the world and then affected everyone in every corner of the world in one way or another. And then think about all of the trade that we get from other countries and how that was impacted because we had this global pandemic. You know, toilet paper being manufactured in Asia, not getting to us here in the United States, and we're having to, worry about where that's going to come from, and what we're going to do. The food that is grown in certain parts of the world that can't get to other parts of the world because everything is shut down. We saw it so blatantly happening during this pandemic about how truly interconnected we are in this world. We were forced to isolate from each other for our own safety and the safety of the rest of the people around us. But nothing became more evident that we were so interconnected, even though we were having to be alone. And I think that aloneness accentuated how much we need each other and how we're dependent upon each other. These differences that we experience in our world, the difference in nationality, the difference in culture, the difference in gender, the difference in racial areas, the difference in ethnicity, the difference in all of these things actually becomes a strength in our world. Instead of it becoming a weakness where we think that because I'm different, because I'm whatever, I'm not as good as someone else. Or because someone else is different, they're not as good as me. But these differences are actually used to strengthen this. And as we begin to understand the differences and to educate ourselves on the differences, I believe that then we begin to see the strength and the beauty that is inherent in all of these differences that we have. Because every single culture, every single religion, every single nationality, every single ethnicity has something unique to offer to the world. And as we begin to embrace that and accept that, we begin to learn from it. Had I not taken Buddhism and Hinduism and learned about those cultures and those religions, I wouldn't understand the beauty of Indra's net. I'd never heard of it before, probably wouldn't have heard of it. But because I've educated myself about it, then I can experience that glorious feeling that comes through there. If I had not read Ernest Holmes, I would not have found that wonderful chant that we just experienced and all of the things that are happening through our bodies as we experience that chant. As we educate ourselves about others, then we begin to appreciate them in different ways, and we begin to understand them in a way that we might not have before. So instead of something feeling strange or foreign to us, we begin to understand it as the cultural variance or a religious practice or an ethnic tradition. We begin to understand it for the beauty that it is instead of looking at it for the difference that it is to what we normally experience. There are certain things that this idea of global unity bring us. One is that interconnectedness that I've just talked about, how we are so indelibly linked to each other. There's this idea of inclusivity, when we begin to focus on diversity as being a strength instead of diversity as being a weakness or something that's inherently wrong. There's a sense of cooperation that happens as we went through this global pandemic. Didn't you find yourself cooperating with people in a way that you hadn't before? I mean, it seemed to be more easy to not let the little things bother us as much as they would have in the past. It seemed, at least for me, it was like, okay, so I can't get that particular brand of green beans at the store today. Oh, well, we'll find something else that'll substitute for it. I began to cooperate with other people. I noticed it instantly. Facebook pages kept coming up about people wanting to share their resources with each other. And so I was in southern Utah at the beginning of the pandemic, and there were people on there, okay, I've got 12 cans of baby formula, but I don't have any diapers. Anybody willing to trade a can of baby formula for a box of diapers? That kind of stuff was happening. And we began to cooperate with each other in a way that we hadn't before. And again, it was, due to the crisis that was happening, but it was an opportunity for us to set aside any ideas we had about anything else and just embrace this cooperation between us. There are other things that are happening in our world right now that we reach out. There's the floods that have been happening in Libya. There's the earthquake in Morocco. The hurricanes that have been hitting the East Coast so far. And, well, one of them hit the West Coast not too long ago. These kind of things have a tendency to naturally bring us together when we are facing disasters or climate crises or things like that. They begin to bring us together in different ways to help us so that we can help each other. And I don't know, I find that in those situations, it doesn't matter what the other person is. I'm just there to help. I'm just there to share what I have to offer, what little support I can give. It doesn't matter to me who I'm giving it to. I set that aside, which is one of the true beauties of being generous. When we can be generous and not care who it goes to, that's the true measure of it. We have some things that are happening in our world right now that I think we could do better about cooperating with each other. The climate change issue, for instance, right now that's happening. We no longer can believe that what happens in our own little community doesn't impact anyone else. We can see the pollution from the automobiles rising into the air. Well, it doesn't stay there. It has to move onward. It has to rise up. And of course, it's going to affect the atmosphere. It's going to affect the breathing of people around us. It has become very evident over the last couple of decades that being around people who smoke can be harmful to people who don't smoke. We realize that we don't stay in isolation. What we do actually moves out from us and affects other people. And more than just the things that are in the atmosphere, the amount of what they call our carbon footprint, how much carbon-based products we are using, we are consuming, actually leads to those greenhouse gases. And so as we begin to reduce our carbon footprint and allow ourselves to live a little more sustainable life, we are affecting the planet around us too, in a positive way. I just recently bought a brand new house, and I found out through one of the many people knocking on my door to sell me something that Nevada has to be 50% renewable energy by 2030. And so there's a big campaign to get solar energy on homes. And so I'm participating in that and going to have solar power on my house. So instead of creating the greenhouse gases that carbon-based fuels do, I will be able to use renewable energy to manage my home, to create the air conditioning and things that I need to survive here. So there's just a lot of things that we can begin to do on a global basis that will actually promote a sense of unity. When we take individual responsibility, knowing that what I do does affect others around me, then we can begin to have a positive experience for everyone in the world. And again, education is really key to understanding our global unity, educating ourselves about others, educating ourselves about the effects of the things that I do in my own little individual world and how that has a global impact around me. It helps us see how we affect our community, how our community affects our state, how our state affects our country, and how our country affects the rest of this world. At some point, I know we're going to get to a place where we realize that what our little planet does also affects the universe, the solar system, and the universe around us. You know, as we see our effects from our community reaching out beyond our state and beyond our country with things like our the waste products and so forth that we have out there, we really begin to see, you know, when you see that ocean with that pool of garbage floating on the top of it, you know that that plastic bottle that you decided to buy has to land somewhere. And where it lands is going to affect the people around it, or the animals around it, or the environment around it, and so forth. You know, these global challenges that we experience require global solutions. And so we have organizations out there that are doing global things, that are doing great works. You know, the United Nations does amazing things as far as bringing people together to talk about the different challenges in the world around us. And so as we can find our own little way of participating in these more global things, I think that we will, I think we'll feel better about ourselves. I think we'll feel better about our impact on the world and feel better about our relationship to the rest of life. You know, we all share a common fate. What happens on this planet affects every single person here. What happens to the bacteria and the algae and the fungus and all of that stuff trickles down to us. What happens to the animals on our planet affects us. What happens to people in one country affects another person in another country. Because we are all part of that net, that Indra's net. We are all vibrating in response to the things around us. And so as we begin to experience a greater sense of responsibility for our own effect on the world, I think that also spreads out. I think as we begin to take ownership for what we do, I think other people around us will also see that. We don't live in isolation, and what we do affects others. And when people see it, they're changed too. When they see us changing our point of view about how things happen, other people around us change with us. It may be slow. It's something we have absolutely no control over it. That God of order probably wouldn't like it a whole lot. He wants things to happen in his own time, in his own way. But as we begin to experience life differently, I think that we can begin to be a powerful change in the world. And I think it's kind of our global responsibility for each one of us to be that place, in whatever small way we can do in our own little world to affect those changes. You know, we are getting great systems in our area here. You know, it's easy to recycle now. You know, most of us have a trash can that's different color than the other trash can, and we put the recycling in that, and that begins to affect things. It's easier to conserve water. We're being forced to by the regulations that are out about the watering of our yards and so forth. As I said, I just bought a new home. We're not allowed to plant grass. We can only plant certain plants. We can only put certain trees in because everything has to be conducive to the amount of water that we are expected to use here in this environment that we live in. And so all of those things are part of our global responsibility to do our own little part, our own little bit, to ensure the well-being of everyone, our planet, our community, everything around us. You know, we can spend time celebrating this rich tapestry of diversity that we experience. And yet sometimes we're focused more on how people are different, how things are different in our world, what is happening with our own interactions that takes us out of that sense of unity. And so there are things that we can begin to do there too. One of the things that I've found is most powerful for me when I'm in a conflict with someone else is for me to look to see how we are the same. Because it's so easy to focus on the conflict and how we're different, because that's, you know, the difference is being accentuated. And, you know, there's some emotion in there, and I'm, you know, worked up about it. And so it's easy for me to really go into those differences and focus on that. But if I calm myself down enough to where I can see how we are the same, then I totally have a different experience with that person. It doesn't make what they've done right. It doesn't make me right and them wrong. It doesn't do anything of that, but it softens my experience of the other person. And so it's a practice that I do often as I'm in any kind of a challenging situation in my life, is to do that, is to go through that. So let's do a little bit of that together here, if you would with me. So I want you to bring to mind any kind of challenge you're experiencing right now. If it has to do with somebody else, that's great, because it's easier sometimes to do this with a person in your mind than it is with a abstract object or something. So just bring that to your mind. And kind of think about the situation, what's happening, without going too deep into it, but just bring it to mind, the details around it and the person that's involved in this. And so now, see if you can find one thing that person that you're having this conflict with has that is similar to you. Maybe you're both women, maybe you're both men, maybe you're both of a certain age group, maybe you've both retired, or maybe you're both still in the workforce, maybe you both have children, maybe you both have difficult experience of the workplace, whatever that is. Begin to focus on what it is that you have that is similar to that person. And see if you can build that feeling of camaraderie around this issue. And just begin to focus on all of those similarities. Anything else that comes to mind that you have that's similar to that person or that situation, in that situation for you. And if any of those differences pop up, just set them aside and just allow yourself to think, okay, we are the same in this way. One of the things I often go to is we are both daughters or children of parents, and know that we were loved by our parents, and that love is still inside of us. And that feeling of love, I just let that feeling of love grow until I don't feel angry anymore or disturbed over the situation. Now, the thing is, you have to do this sometimes over and over again. It's not always a one-time shot, because these situations kind of build in us. And so just as you're going through your day and you find a challenge that comes up, any kind of a conflict that you'd like to resolve, look at the people involved in it and find those ways that you are the same. Because there is a beautiful grace in finding those commonalities and knowing that we're interconnected. You can even imagine yourself being that jewel, reflecting light onto that person. So bring a positive light from yourself and reflect it out onto the other person. And then watch as it comes back to you. Because it always does. All right, let's take this into prayer. And I invite the practitioners to stand. We simply turn within. I know that there is only this one life, this one power, this one presence, this one divine, creative, love intelligence that has brought forth everything into existence, that imbued it with its own energy, its own power, its own love, its own intelligence. I know that all of creation is a manifestation of this one. And I know that this one shows up as unconditional love, as perfect peace, as wisdom and clarity and harmony and balance. I know that this one is everlasting and eternal, all-encompassing and all-pervasive. And because I know there's only one, I know that I am one with it. That creative love intelligence has put itself into me and is living itself through me right here and right now. I know that in God I live and move and have my being. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for everyone. For each one of us is that perfect jewel in that infinite net of interconnected life. I know that each one of us is a place where God shows up in all of its beautiful glory and reflective power. And so knowing this, I know that there is a unity of all life, a perfection that is happening, a balance and a harmony that is creating itself in untold ways throughout all of the universe. I know that this perfection resides in each one of us individually, in all of our diversity, in all of our magnificence. And as we interact with each other, we magnify that sense of individuality as a collective whole, allowing ourselves to transform our world around us. And how good it is to know this, how good it is to feel it, how good it is to see it happening right now. And I just give thanks for it, knowing that the perfection of the divine is manifesting itself right here and right now. I let this go and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Now sing it up now. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Love that song. Thank you, Justin. All right, now is the time that we share our tithes and our offerings. So if you would get your offering out, if you're giving cash or check today, we appreciate that greatly. If you're giving online, would you just hold that in your consciousness and maybe put your hand over your heart? And let's just do our little affirmation here. This gift I give
This gift I give
goes forth from me,
goes forth from me,
does amazing and miraculous things,
does amazing and miraculous things,
and returns to me in kind,
and returns to me in kind,
pressed down and overflowing.
pressed down and overflowing.
And so it is.
And so it is. All right, here we go. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into circulation. The universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation.
Such a fun song. Thank you, Eddie Watkins Jr., for that. So we just have a brief announcement today. I just want to acknowledge our beautiful flowers sponsored by Joe and Roxy for Christy and the wonderful staff here at the Meadows Center, and for opening their arms to us generously and allowing us to be here to have our services. We are so blessed to be able to come back together again in this beautiful space. And we will be here until we get into our new building, which, as I said, we're anticipating last week in October, first week in November. We'll see how it goes. We'll let you know, keep you posted on that, but everything is in progress right now. It's looking beautiful. We're going to head out there this week and get some more pictures for you. I have pictures in the back if you're interested in seeing the progress of the building right now. All right, so we're going to do our benediction and our closing song. So if you would, stand. If you're comfortable, hold hands. All right, just repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called unity.
It is this thing called unity.
Unity is in my mind.
Unity is in my mind.
Unity is in my heart.
Unity is in my heart.
Unity is in all that I do.
Unity is in all I do.
I am it. I accept it. And I share it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it's becoming.
Just the way that it's becoming.
Thank you, unity.
Thank you, unity.
All right. Use me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. 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 Have a great week, everybody. Please help us reset the room.